One club stands out from the notorious one percenters amidst the roar of motorcycle engines and rebellious environment: the Mongols Motorcycle Club. But what exactly makes them the baddest of the bunch? The Mongols MC was founded in 1969 as a one percenter group in California. Today, they have chapters in more than 14 US states and branches all over the world. Is it the Mongols' global influence or their considerable size that really makes them notorious? Join us as we enter the wild world of the Mongols MC and explore what makes them one of the most deadly criminal biker clubs in the world. But before we begin, a word of caution. Crossing paths with the Mongols is like playing with fire, so think twice before you even consider messing with the Mongols. Do the Mongols MC pose a serious threat to other motorcycle clubs and even the Mexican mafia? The Mongols MC stand out not only because of their size and global influence, but also because of their steadfast refusal to bow down to authority. Being a one-percenter, they do not obey the guidelines or directives of the American Motorcycle Association. They pave their own way and live by their own code of conduct, which often places them in direct conflict with law enforcement. The idea of one-percenters started out as a brotherly friendship driven by a shared love of motorcyclists and the freedom of the open road. But despite their patriotic Harley-Davidson rides, this community took a dark turn when one-percenters began to believe they were above the law. What happens when the love for the road clashes with the boundaries of the law? The Mongols were in the legal limelight when the authorities chased them. Attorneys for the Mongols asserted that the motorcycle club strictly prohibits criminals from joining, as law enforcement strengthened their hunt for them. Even though the Mongols' lawyers argue that the new screening procedure ensures that violent offenders are not admitted into the community, what about those who are already members? They are unable to dismiss those members without enough evidence. Their criminal involvement in activities violated the law, and they occasionally broke it outright. Law enforcement dedicatedly went after the Mongols MC, and they managed to infiltrate it twice. Agent William Queen not only gained entry into the Mongols MC, but also became a fully patched member and chapter vice president in 1998. The sting led to the arrest of 54 members, of whom 53 were found guilty. 10 more years later, there was another invasion that resulted in the arrest of 38 members. It was like stirring up a hornet's nest all over again. There has been no end to the conflict between law enforcement and the Mongols. There have been almost 270 warrants issued against the Mongols at one point in history, but things have somewhat calmed down with the election of a new president. However, the majority of law-abiding citizens tend to flee after seeing the Mongols MC members. According to the Department of Justice, the Mongols MC is the worst of the one-percenters. It is a dangerous group that poses a threat to any state where it has strong chapters. How do the Mongols view their most notorious reputation? They wear their baddest of bad image as a badge of pride because they simply love being bad. One of their slogans that reflects their mindset is, "When we do right, nobody remembers. When we do wrong, nobody forgets." Justification enough to avoid any association with the Mongols MC for now and forever. The Mongols often break the law in order to earn money. They have been able to increase their bank balance over the years. Even if it did not follow the rules set down by the American Motorcycle Association at first, things changed rather rapidly. Ever since David Santillon was elected club president in 2015, things have taken a better turn, and reports indicate that unlawful activities have stopped. But can they truly overcome their past, or will old habits die hard? The Mongols were not only involved in illegal drug trafficking, but also had a hand in a motorcycle theft circle, and they were damn good at what they did. The Mongols MC can be compared to the Hispanic version of the Hells Angels. Why did the Mongols choose to form their own MC instead of joining forces with the Hells Angels? The Hells Angels are a white-only group. The Mongols MC is one of the many MCs that sprang from the non-entry of non-white people into the Hells Angels. When the Hells Angels said no to the Mongols, they formed their own club called the Mongols Motorcycle Club, which became their biggest rival from day one. Only the pressure from law enforcement or an intervention with the Mexican mafia were able to put the legendary conflict between these groups on hold. Even so, there is still no love lost between the two clubs, and members avoid one another's paths in their respective domains to avoid starting a new conflict. Do you think being non-American keeps you out of the Mongols' radar? Here's the real shocker. The Mongols cast their net far and wide, making their mark as an international outlaw motorcycle club. No one's immune to the long arm of the Mongols. Although the US chapter continues to hold the distinction of baddest of the bad, other nations have their own versions of the club. None of them are cute and cuddly. They are more like wolves in sheep's clothing, ready to pounce at any moment. These nations include Australia, Denmark, Germany, and many more. These venues host international gatherings, and ordinary people tend to vacate these locations somewhat rapidly. The Mongols take security very seriously. When Ruben Cavazos was the Mongols' national president, he or his security head would dress up in different clothes and sneak around like spies. They did this before any major gatherings to check out the area and make sure there were no enemies around, whether they were from rival gangs or law enforcement. These secret missions were well planned, almost like something out of a military operation. The Mongols got into a fight with the Mexican mafia. Few people confront the Mexican mafia and come out with only minor injuries. The Mongols are among the few. Even though they experienced setbacks, so did the Mexican mafia. Some Mongol members and La Eme, a mafia-aligned Mexican gang, appear to have been involved in a territorial conflict in 2004. The Mongols refused to meet the mafia's demands for money. The conflict escalated, causing a few deaths on each side. Later, it was settled behind closed doors, and the price of this peace is still unknown. The Mongols MC has been involved in various illegal activities. From stealing countless motorcycles to human trafficking and high-value drug deals, they have generated millions of dollars in revenue for the club. With these criminal operations, they have hit the jackpot over time. The club's conduct has changed in the last few years. It's been reported that the club has engaged in fewer illegal activities since David Santillan became president. Due to the group's long history of violence, prosecutors accuse them of operating a full-fledged criminal organization. They were involved in murder, attempted murder, and drug distribution. They made the decision to hold their ground, rather than go for the easy route. The club members decided to fight back instead of choosing to file bankruptcy, as many other people would have done. They were not intimidated by this. After all, they are the Mongols. The US government tried but was unable to remove their patch. Isn't it odd that the government wants to mess with a group of bikers? Ultimately, the United States government engaged in a court battle with the Mongols, trying to strip them of their patch. But did they succeed? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Initially, the authorities had a little taste of victory, but the Mongols had something up their sleeves, and they won. What exactly did these bikers do to turn the tables? By working together, the prosecutors were able to persuade the judge to give them the right to take away the Mongols' jackets and patches prior to their trial. Hold on a second. Do you think the Mongols' lawyers were about to let that happen without a fight? No way. The Mongols' lawyers got to work and proved that this order had violated not just one, but two amendments of the Constitution, the members' rights under the First and Eighth Amendments. In an instant, the patches were back where they belonged. The Mongols Motorcycle Club showed everyone that you don't mess with them, not even in the courtroom. They have risen from their humble beginnings in Southern California to their current global prominence, which is marked by conflict, controversies, and a constant quest for power. As motorcycle gang members, they told themselves they would only get bigger, better, and stronger. They were not afraid in the face of difficulty. They reminded themselves that they're not just a club, they're a family. Taking into account their historical past, it is clear that the Mongols continue to pose a threat. It is logical to predict that they will keep expanding their influence in the future. But how far are they able to go?